what a great way to spend a weekend. It is the first weekend of the 65th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. This is Indy Sports Show Live, and we are so thrilled to have so many great guests over these weekends. The pros, the pro staffers, all sorts of different hunters, fishermen, vendors, and the vendors are what make the Indiana Boat Sport and Travel Show the largest show in the entire country. We're located in the Champions Pavilion, and we are just getting started. We've already had some great conversations talking about fishing, and we are going to continue that. Mark Stowe is with us. It is great to have you be a part of Indy Sports Show Live. This is our first opportunity to talk bass fishing. Okay, so you're getting the first jump out of the gate. We've got some walleyes. Now we're going to be talking about bass fishing. Yeah, we're getting the thumbs down. You have done. You were telling me all these jobs that you have and opportunities, but most importantly, you're known for the Direction TV. Tell us, how did that all get started?
Well, the Direction.
Did you miss a meeting somewhere?
I did miss a meeting. That was it. But you know, really, the Direction is. It all came about. Really accidentally. You know, I've loved fishing over all the years, and just, you know, I grew up fishing, just found that love for it, kind of dabbled in the tournament world for years, and a few years back, kind of got looking into TV, because it's one of them things as a kid you look at and go, you know what, I want to do that. It all sounds fun, and, you know, the opportunity came about to take the message of 811 and share a little bit about safe digging, and that kind of plays into me as a landscaper. But so all these bits and pieces kind of fell into place, and the opportunity came out to build a show. And I kind of was, you know, I'm 45 years old, and I'm like an 18-year-old kid with it. It's grown into so much, but it's really, for me, I don't know that it's the fishing, it's the people. I always say with the Direction, if you watch our intro, you know, I found that love of fishing, and fishing is really getting to know people. It's when you're out there on the water, or you're at a farm pond, and I go back to the story of my granddaddy when I was a boy. You know, we'd go down to the pond, me and him would go down there and we'd fish a little while, and I think back, and you know, I just have those impressions embedded in my mind from all them years ago. And
it's hard to get rid of them when they're so good.
And so that's what the Direction is. You know, here's something that I've done my whole life that I love, that I'm passionate about, and what am I going to do with it? And so I chased the tournament world. That didn't go so well over the years. Don't ever look my record up on that. It might not be so good on the winnings.
It's out there in social media.
It's out there on social media, but the real of it is it came about to build a show. My oldest son produces a show with me, travels and films, and then, you know, my kids will go with me some. I tie in guests, you know, guest right here locally. It's a pretty well-known guy, Terry McWilliams. Yep. I've actually shot with Terry
up here in Indianapolis, area on the White River.
On the White River, Noblesville. You know, Wes Thomas. Wes is from up here. So I've really had, you know, the opportunity to get with some neat folks, take those connections I made from the tournament world, bring a little bit of that to the TV, but I truly like finding people that have a fun story, bringing them on the show, and going out and we go fishing. At some of our shows, I actually just filmed an episode with the Turtle Man.
Oh, one of my favorite people.
And I won't make a spoiler of next year's episode, but let me say, we went bass fishing, and I can tell you there's a critter called a grass pickerel, and somehow we end up catching all these pickerel instead of bass. So sometimes with my show, things don't go exactly the way they're playing.
Doing Facebook Live radio. As obviously you can tell, you're a native of Louisville, right?
Yes, Louisville is home. I live in a little town right outside there called Taylorsville, Kentucky, and that's Taylorsville Lakes right there, and great crappie fishery, by the way.
So did you know the Turtle Man before?
Not really, but through people of people, it was one of them things that just come about. And
that was one of the greatest shows on TV.
We had a lot of fun. I will say that him and his Suzanne, we went down and went to a private lake down there that he has a friend, and we went down. We had an absolute blast.
Did you go and get any turtles?
No. But what I will say is I thought I had energy and a high influence gear in me, but he goes at a pace none other.
So the DirectionTV.com, all sorts of social media opportunities for you. You're on the Pursuit channel. How do you keep up with all the social media? Is that important to what you do?
Absolutely. You know, I think social media has changed everything. You know, there used to be that television would get something out there and you could just utilize television. But you know, people want to be engaged so much more. They want to see these Facebook Lives. They want to know a little bit about what you're doing or what you're, you know, who you all are and how you do it or what you're fishing with. They want to see it live. They really don't want to, you know, I don't think people want that information after the fact. They want to see it as it's happening and know about it. You know, we do a Facebook Live every week after the show. So the show airs on Pursuit at 7 p.m. on Tuesday nights. At 8:30, we go live on Facebook and talk about that episode. So, you know, like last week, there was an episode about, we had a local football coach on the show, and we had a bunch of the kids with us, my son's friends, and we took them farm pond fishing. Well, that's all the episode was about. But, you know, that engages people. They get on Facebook, they want to comment on it, they want to talk about it, they want to ask questions, and so you have to nowadays, you know, put that social media out there.
Well, we found the growing success with this Indie Sports Show Live, and you brought up an interesting point because it's about the people. You're going to do seminars, you're going to be in the 811 booth, and we'll get to that in just a second, but they want to know more about you. They want to know about your episodes with Fishing with the Turtle Man, or just some of the things that you do outside of fishing, and obviously you do a lot outside of fishing. So let's hop in, because you're covered in 811.com. Call before you dig. It's an important thing, as you mentioned, as an excavator and a landscaper. What's this all about?
Well, 811 is real simple. It's the number you call anytime you're going to dig, anytime you're going to plant a tree, put up a mailbox, build a deck, anything you're going to do to move any type of dirt, you got to call 811. It's the law. Here's the neat part. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And I call it safe digging. You know, that's what we use inside the industry is the words. You know, people need to use safe digging, because if you go out there and think about this, as me as a landscaper, okay, I have to dig a lot of holes all over the place. I go in somebody's yard, but I'm sending my nephew who works for me out there to go dig this hole in their yard. Well, there's electric, there's gas, there's water, there's all of that infrastructure in that ground. So I'm gonna send my nephew to go dig by that electric line. What happens when he hits that and he gets hurt?
That's your fault.
That's my fault.
Yeah.
And as an uncle, let's just leave the business out.
Right.
I don't want that as an uncle.
I read a statistic somewhere that an underground utility gets torn up, broken every 6 minutes in this country.
There's a lot of data out there that will literally boggle your mind about how many damages are out there. You see it every day in the newspapers and on television, and I don't want anything to do with those statistics. And a lot of times, many of those are preventable by calling 811, because once you call that number, okay, now that number goes to the facility owner, which may be a gas company, a water company, all of those type of infrastructure owners. They get that call, then they dispatch a locating service, and a locating service comes out and marks the underground area that you've specified. So if you call in your address and it's this address and this is the area you specified, that locate company will locate that area and they'll place flags out there. They may be red, yellow, there's a color code card that tells you all, and then you'll know what utilities are in the ground, and then there are variances that vary state to state of how close you can dig next to those without the, with a piece of equipment, and then the rest has to be hand done where you're exposing that facility in the ground so you don't end up hitting it and injuring somebody or hurting them.
Well, as you can see, you're one of the Boat Sport and Travel Show's signature sponsors this year, and it's great to have you be a part of in a big way. But I want to go back and talk about you some more, because you don't like talking about yourself, do you?
Well, I'd rather talk about people, because really for me the show and all that stuff is about people. I will say one more thing about the 811 for the side of, we're doing this for the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, because they want that message of 811 out there to folks. We just want them aware of safe digging, calling 811, that it's free, it's simple. And I push that message because people, it's really free.
Why don't they have the commercials, the chop, 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 dig, dig, dig anymore? I love those commercials.
Well, we actually did a commercial for them, and this is fun. Now, this goes back to the Direction TV. My oldest son come up with the idea that we were going to go out and film a commercial, and we have a guy on the bank over there. We end up hooking him with a rod, pulling him in the ground because he's getting ready to dig, and he hadn't called in. So we reel him into the boat. You can actually see us on Pursuit Channel. We got it out there on one of the big billboards. You see him, we were reeling him in, and we hand him a phone at the boat and say, you need to make sure you call before you dig.
I just remember growing up, chop, 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 dig, dig, dig. So you obviously have a focus on people. Who are some of the people that you've met that starstruck you in the fishing world? Who are some of the people that you've met that you've looked up to?
You know, really all of them. You know, when you watch the fishing industry and you think about the tournament world, you see all the tournament pros and all of that. But you know, for me, that's probably the littlest segment of fishing. You know, I go back and think about, if you look at some of the statistics out there, how many people buy licenses. There's over 40 million people buy a fishing license in the U.S. Well, most of them aren't tournament fishermen. They're going out to the farm pond. They're the kid down the...
Just like you started.
That's it. And that's really what we're doing with the Direction too, is we're showing a lot of that. But then I do have great guests like Terry McWilliams on there. We got a lineup that I'm not going to spoil for next year. Some great anglers that are out there that we're lining up to bring on the show. And but really, truthfully, one of the people that's probably inspired me the most that I've actually done a few shows with is good old local guy, Terry McWilliams. Terry is just a humble individual and just a tremendous fisherman, if you don't know that.
How do you describe yourself? As a fisherman, a hunter, how do you describe yourself?
I'm not the best fisherman in the world, but I enjoy it, and that's really what it is for me. You know, you watch our show, you're not going to see all these big fish and all these techniques and, oh, here's this bait and this. People, I grab really what I have. I put it in the boat with me. I tell all of our partners and sponsors of the show, look, we're really going to do what I really do because you know what? I'm not the best fisherman in the world. I've got a neat opportunity to go out there and do what I love and share that story with a lot of other people. And that's, I'm just blessed to get to do that, to be honest.
So I've got to ask, what are some of the things on your bucket list? Where are the places you want to fish? What are some of the things you haven't done yet?
Well, one of the fun ones, I'll hit a couple of them I did get because I've got to cross a couple bucket lists off because of the TV. We went to British Columbia, Canada, and got to go sturgeon fishing on the Fraser River. I watched my 12-year-old catch a 7-foot sturgeon, and that was on my big bucket list. Been to Mexico, actually got to catch a 10-pound largemouth. And
I think that'd scare the heck out of me.
That was on the big checklist. But, you know, I've got some other, you know, there's some lakes in the country, around the country that I wouldn't mind to get to hit. But for me, I'll come back and hit it again. I really kind of, ideas pop up and it'll be somebody that says, hey, I know so-and-so, they're pretty unique. I fished with a guy this year, his name was Carl Parks. Carl and me did an episode together, and 9 months prior, he actually lost his son in a single car accident. And Carl came on the show, shared that story, just who he is and the foundation faith-wise that he has, and he brought that on the show. And that was an awesome story, you know, and, you know, it just, I was humbled to be on the water with a guy like that. Makes it all
worthwhile, doesn't it?
It does. It makes me realize I don't have a bad day in it. So if I'm out there complaining about breaking a fishing rod or that I'm out there flat tire on the trailer, I have to look at that and go, you know what, I'm just fortunate to be out here getting to fish.
So people come out to the Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show, they come to the 811 booth. What are they going to see over there?
Well, they need to come out. One, we got the 811 bass boat there. We're showing some of the Directions TV, you know, commercials, different things there, a little bit of our stuff, but we're giving away, you know, you look a little stressed over there hosting this show. We'll give you a little squeegee there.
All of a sudden, all the stress is gone.
but you can come out and get you an 811 fish there for
An 811 fish.
You're giving away floats, but we're giving away a little information about 811 over there. But we'll talk to you about fishing. We'll talk to you about the show. You know, this show is amazing. One, for how long it's been around, how big it is, how many people are here, and it's just really it's a lot of fun. We're doing the introductions at the 811 fishing seminar area back there. They've got all the guests coming in to speak. We're doing the introductions for all those folks, and they got a great lineup of speakers. I know Wally Marshall, Mr. Crappie just spoke. I know Bill McDonald.
He'll be joining us here shortly.
Okay, I know Bill McDonald's here. He's going to be speaking, and Billy's here locally from Indianapolis.
Billy Mack.
And you know, y'all they just have a great lineup of folks that you can really come out and learn a lot about fishing, hunting, and you can see all the campers. I mean, you can just see it all here. It's really a great family fun day, to be honest with you.
I couldn't have given a better commercial. Great way to end this segment with Mark Stowe, 811. Call before you dig. Come out and check out their booth. This is the Indy Sports Show live studio. We're going to be here all week long, all weekend long. This is just a great place, as you heard Mark say, like-minded people gathering together to learn, to see. You get to meet great people, and not just about how to catch bigger bass or more walleye or more crappie. It's just about getting to know people, and that's what Indy Sports Show Live is all about. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to gear up for the next segment. You're not going to want to go anywhere. I'm Brian Pointer, host of Indiana Outdoors. See what I said? I said Indiana Outdoors. That's my radio show, Indy Sports Show Live. We're going to be back in just a few minutes.